Have you ever noticed how silence can make people chase you more than words ever could? How withdrawing your energy doesn't make you forgotten. It makes you haunting. That's the paradox of Dark Stoic Energy. The colder you become, the more they feel the heat of their own obsession. Because silence, when it comes from strength, isn't absence. It's impact. It's the kind of calm that shakes the unstable. It's the kind of restraint that exposes who really had control all along. You see, most men use words to get attention, but a Stoic man uses silence to create gravity. He doesn't chase. He doesn't prove. He doesn't perform. He simply withdraws. And in that quiet, her mind starts working overtime. She wonders what you're thinking. She wonders if you've moved on. She wonders if the silence means she lost her grip, or if you've found your peace. And that's when obsession begins. Not because you pulled away, but because you didn't need to. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." That's the essence of cold silence. You don't fight to win. You rise above the battle entirely. Your calm becomes her chaos. Your absence becomes her mirror. So before we begin, take a deep breath. Feel that stillness. That's your weapon now, because the colder your silence becomes, the louder her thoughts will get. If you live by control, calm and mastery, like this video, subscribe and comment below. My silence controls me, not her. Now, let's begin. Attraction doesn't come from attention. It comes from uncertainty. The human mind craves answers, and when it doesn't get them, it fills the silence with imagination. That's what happens when you go quiet. Your absence becomes a mystery her ego can't solve. When you were expressive, she felt secure. She knew your feelings. She could predict your reactions. She had control. But when you stopped explaining yourself, she lost that control. And in that vacuum of silence, obsession is born. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Now, her thoughts are dyed with you. Every unanswered question, every quiet moment, every space you left behind, it becomes a loop in her mind. She starts rereading your last messages, replaying your tone, analyzing your absence like a puzzle she needs to solve. But she can't, because you've stopped giving emotional signals, and that lack of feedback triggers the part of the brain that associates uncertainty with importance. In simple terms, the less you respond, the more valuable you become. This is where Dark Stoic Energy begins to work. You're not ignoring her out of pettiness. You're mastering yourself out of principle. You're no longer feeding her validation cycles. You've broken the psychological loop that made her feel in control. Your silence now holds a weight it never did before. It's not emotional withdrawal. It's psychological dominance. You've turned absence into power, calm into magnetism, and indifference into influence. She doesn't realize it yet, but your quiet has become the loudest thing in her life. Because what haunts the mind most is the man who no longer needs to explain himself. Control only exists as long as you react. The moment you stop feeding someone your energy, the entire balance shifts. She used to be sure of you. She could say something cold and get a reaction. She could pull away and know you'd chase. She could test your patience and you'd explain yourself. But now, your silence has removed her favorite weapon, certainty. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. And that realization changes everything, because your silence is no longer about her. It's about your control over yourself. She starts to feel that shift immediately. The man who once tried to be understood now feels unreachable. The man who once sought validation now radiates peace. The man she thought she could provoke just doesn't move. And that stillness terrifies her, because deep down she knows emotional control is power. The one who feels less controls more. The one who speaks less is heard more. And the one who reacts least holds all the leverage. Your cold silence is not cruelty, it's clarity. It's the sound of detachment echoing through a space that used to be filled with noise. It's you stepping out of her frame and into your own, and now she's the one waiting for a message. She's the one replaying what went wrong. She's the one wondering how you became so composed while she's unraveling. That's the silent reversal, when she feels the weight of your absence like a shadow following her. Because the moment you stop needing her to understand you, she starts needing your validation again. Your silence has turned the tables. What once made you powerless has now made you magnetic. And that's when she realizes you didn't walk away out of anger. You walked away because you found peace, and that's something she can't replace. It always starts the same way, with curiosity. She tells herself she's just wondering what you're up to, just checking in, just looking. But she's not. She's searching for certainty, and you've taken that away. You see, most people think obsession comes from attraction. It doesn't. It comes from confusion, from wanting to understand something that no longer responds the way it used to. Marcus Aurelius said, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." And right now, you've become that thing she can't control. Your silence rewires the dynamic in her mind. Every unanswered text becomes a question. Every day without a word becomes an itch she can't scratch. Every image of you being calm, unbothered, or improving without her, it burns in her thoughts. And here's what makes it powerful. You're not doing it to her. You're doing it for you. You've pulled your energy back, not to play games, but to reclaim it. And that shift, that discipline, is what draws her in. She can feel that you're not pretending. You're not trying to get her attention anymore. You've accepted the distance. You've mastered your emotions. And that authenticity, that rare masculine calm, becomes addictive. Now, her imagination starts doing the work for you. She pictures you talking to someone else. She wonders if you ever think of her. She questions how you detached so easily and why she can't. That's when obsession takes root. Not because you said something clever, not because you won the argument, but because you stopped participating in the emotional economy altogether. Your silence is now living rent-free in her mind. It's in her thoughts when she wakes up. It's in her scrolling late at night. It's in every moment she realizes you're no longer reachable, yet somehow more present than ever. And that's what makes cold silence so dangerous. It's not passive, it's magnetic. Because when a man stops chasing, his energy starts being chased. Silence is a mirror, and the longer it stays unbroken, the clearer it becomes. At first, she thought your quiet was weakness, that you were hurt, overthinking, maybe even waiting for her. But as time passes, she begins to realize something far more unsettling. Your silence isn't emotional, it's intentional. That's when the mirror starts reflecting. All the chaos she once projected onto you, the games, the distance, the attitude, now bounce back toward her. Because without your reaction to absorb it, she's left alone with her own reflection. Marcus Aurelius said, "You become what you give your attention to," and now her attention is locked on the one thing she can't control, your calm. She starts wondering, was I the problem? Did he really stop caring? How did he detach without bitterness? It confuses her because she can't make sense of your peace. Most men lash out, beg, or prove their worth, but not you. You just disappeared into silence, and somehow became more powerful in your absence than you ever were in your presence. That's the mirror effect. Your stillness exposes her instability. Your calm becomes the contrast against her chaos. Your detachment becomes the spotlight on her dependency. Now, every time she feels anxious, it's not because of what you said, it's because of what you didn't. Your silence doesn't just echo, it reflects. And what it reflects is truth. Truth she's been avoiding. The truth that you were never trying to control her. You were trying to control yourself. And now that you've mastered that, she can't touch you anymore. Because silence doesn't just create space, it creates clarity. And clarity is the one thing most people run from. That's why your silence hurts her ego, but awakens her conscience. It doesn't destroy her, it reveals her. And the man who can reveal truth without a single word is the man she can never forget. That's the mirror effect, when your calm becomes her conscience. There's a strange moment that happens after the storm, after the anger fades, after the ego quiets down. That's when she begins to feel something she never expected: respect. Not for your silence itself, but for the strength it took to hold it. You didn't explode. You didn't defend yourself. You didn't chase validation or beg to be understood. You simply walked away, steady, composed, and detached. That calm becomes undeniable. It's not arrogance, it's authority, because a man who can remain silent in chaos radiates a kind of energy that words can't create. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." And that's exactly what your silence did. It proved what kind of man you are. Not by declaration, but by demonstration. You became proof that peace is power. You became evidence that emotional control is the ultimate dominance. You became the contrast, the embodiment of everything she couldn't find in noise. And now, the silence she once called cold feels sacred. The distance she once mocked feels deserved, because respect is born in absence. People rarely value presence until it's gone, and when your energy finally disappears, it creates a void that only discipline could leave behind. She starts to look at you differently now, not with pity, not with anger, but with recognition. She sees the man who refused to be broken by emotion, the man who mastered reaction, the man who chose dignity over impulse, and that realization humbles her. Because no manipulation, no argument, no guilt can move a man who's already made peace with himself. That's the birth of respect. When your silence no longer feels like punishment, but presence. Because what she's starting to feel isn't loss, it's awareness. The awareness that she's standing in the echo of your composure. And that echo is louder than anything you could have said. When a man learns to master his reaction, he reclaims his reality. And that's what your silence did. It didn't just distance you, it re-centered you. The same stillness that once felt like loss has become leadership. You're not hiding anymore, you're governing yourself. And the more you stand in that control, the more the world, and she, adjusts around you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That's the line between ordinary men and Stoics. The ordinary man fights for attention. The Stoic commands it by existing in peace. Now she feels it. Your silence isn't rejection, it's rain. Every day you don't respond, she senses that she's lost the privilege of access. Every hour you stay composed, your value multiplies. Because restraint breeds respect. And the calmest man in the room always ends up in control. She'll never admit it, but your energy shifted the balance completely. Her emotions used to move you, now yours move her. Not through force, not through words, but through gravity. The quiet certainty of a man who no longer explains himself. That's when power truly returns. When the same silence that once made you look cold now makes you look untouchable. You don't chase her awareness anymore. She feels it every time she tries to ignore you and can't. You've become the calm she can't replicate, the presence she can't replace. Your silence no longer speaks for pain, it speaks for dominance. Because you've realized something sacred. Control doesn't come from holding others. It comes from holding yourself. That's the return of power. When your quiet becomes command, and your discipline becomes the atmosphere she breathes in. There comes a point where your silence stops being strategy and becomes identity. You're no longer just quiet. You're absent with purpose. Your distance no longer feels emotional. It feels sacred. That's when you become the unreachable man. You've mastered what most men never will, detachment without bitterness. You don't run. You don't hide. You simply don't need. Your peace is no longer something she can disrupt, because it no longer depends on her. Marcus Aurelius said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." You've stopped wasting yours. You've learned that chasing what drains you is the fastest way to lose yourself. And now you stand still, not because you're waiting, but because you've arrived. She feels that difference. It's in the way you move, the way you no longer seek validation, the way you walk through the world with quiet eyes and a calm pulse, completely centered, completely self-contained. You've become something she can't access anymore, something she can remember, but not reach. And that's what drives her mad. Because deep down, she knows she can replace attention, but she can't replace energy. And yours was rare. Your steadiness, your patience, your control, those are things that can't be copied. You're no longer the man who reacts. You're the man who observes. You're no longer part of her story. You're the lesson in it. Your silence now echoes like myth. You exist in her memory as both peace and punishment. She wanted control, but your absence became the consequence. That's the unreachable man, a man who doesn't just walk away. He ascends beyond whatever made him crawl. You no longer need to win her back, because you've already won yourself. Every Stoic man eventually reaches a point of no return, not because he's bitter, but because he's become something beyond emotion. This is the ascension of the Stoic. The moment your silence turns into sovereignty, you've mastered the art of not being moved by what doesn't serve you. You've learned that peace is not found in outcomes, it's found in ownership. And the moment you took ownership of your emotions, you stopped belonging to anyone else's story. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You've realized it." And now, that strength radiates through everything you do. You no longer need to withdraw to protect yourself. You withdraw because you prefer peace. You no longer go silent out of pain. You go silent because noise is beneath you. That's the highest form of control. To speak when it's useful, to detach when it's wise, to disappear when it's divine. Your emotions serve you now, not the other way around. Your silence no longer hides your thoughts. It reveals your mastery. Because the man who can control his energy can command the entire room without saying a single word. You've ascended beyond validation, beyond desire, beyond proving anything to anyone. You're not just calm anymore. You're centered. You're not just silent. You're sovereign. This is where the Stoic becomes untouchable, not because he resists the world, but because he understands it. You've turned detachment into direction. You've turned stillness into strategy. You've turned solitude into strength. And now, even your absence carries authority. Because when a man masters himself, he no longer needs to chase control. He becomes it. That's the ascension. When silence stops being something you do, and becomes something you are. In the end, she didn't fall for your words. She fell for your silence. Because your silence wasn't passive, it was powerful. It wasn't meant to hurt her, it was meant to heal you. And the man who heals himself becomes the one thing no one can manipulate again. Your calm became her chaos. Your distance became her desire. Your indifference became the mirror that exposed her own need for control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And now your thoughts are clean. No anger, no revenge, no noise, just focus, just stillness, just power. You didn't go cold because you stopped caring. You went cold because you stopped depending. And that's what makes your silence so magnetic. It's not the absence of love, it's the presence of self. Now you walk differently, you speak slower, you carry an energy that doesn't beg to be understood, it demands to be felt. You've become a man who doesn't seek attention because he commands it through calm, and that's why she's obsessed. Because peace like yours can't be bought, broken, or replaced. It can only be earned, and you earned it through restraint. So remember this, your silence is not emptiness, it's evidence. It's proof that you've evolved beyond the need to prove anything. If you live by discipline, presence, and power. Like this video, subscribe, and comment below. I am the silence she can't forget. Welcome to Stoic Blessing. Become a Stoic soldier, because true power isn't in the noise you make, it's in the calm you keep.